Hey, I'm Shane, and in this video I'm going to be talking about the Smallrig Cage for the Sony a7 III, a7R III, and a7S III probably. And basically the base kit that I got is what I'll focus on, with the NATO rail and the little detachable arm. But I'll talk about the extra accessories I've bought for it and how I enjoy using it for handheld video work. I would normally hold it up and show it to you right now, but the issue is it's on my camera, so I can't do that. So there'll be a lot of B-roll in this video. The main obvious benefits of having a cage like this is that you can attach accessories to it and also have a small form factor for the camera you're using. So you get the benefits of having more of a cine-like camera with the extra accessories, but also maintaining the small form factor of the Sony cameras that we all enjoy using. So I've had a few extra accessories that I've attached onto it, like an extra cold shoe mount, obviously my monitors and my microphones, and another handle on the side. But I'm going to just focus on the version I got with the NATO rail and the little articulating arm. So starting off with the build quality, it's stellar. The cage itself is made out of two pieces of CNC'd aluminum, and Smallrig has a great build quality here, and all the threaded holes on it are great. They all work well. There's no issues in terms of build quality, in my opinion. The camera attaches to the cage through the single 1/4 inch hole at the bottom of your camera. There's a little nice rubberized padded feet at the bottom of the cage to make it easy to have the camera stuck in there, and it stays in there very nicely, even if you have like a massive lens like the 70-200 on the camera. The only catch is getting the camera in and out of the cage can be a bit of a hassle, because it comes with a flathead screw to mount the camera in the cage, even though all the other components of Smallrig products have 1/4 inch screws with an Allen key. I've just switched over the screw in the bottom to be a 1/4 inch Allen key to make it much easier to attach and detach the cage from the camera. The cage came with an articulating arm and a NATO rail that has a handle to attach to it. This is awesome because both of these accessories are things you'll regularly need and are kind of like a base component of most cages. Even though I don't really use the rail handle on the top, the build quality is absolutely fantastic. It's awesome because you can balance it easily by adjusting where the handle sits. It's easily adjustable on the fly, and you can detach it and attach it very quickly via the rail system. The articulating ball arm is less of a hit in my opinion. I find that the cold shoe mount little adapter that comes with it does not tighten securely, so I used some gaff tape to make the connection a little bit more snug. And often what I do is just take off that cold shoe mount altogether and just screw it directly into a 1/4 inch hole in the cage. Once you tighten it up though, it's very reliable, and you can attach a heavy monitor to it without any worry about it like drifting or falling down. You'd have more of an issue with the monitor's 1/4 inch screw than you would with this articulating arm. In practicality, this cage works incredibly well. It's well built, robust, and comes in at a pretty cheap price, which makes it perfect for amateurs or even professionals because the cage is just so versatile. You can attach many different components to it, and I have multiple configurations that I often use this cage in and mess around with it regularly, finding what works best for the job that I'm doing. I have an Arca plate attached to the bottom that I use to make it as a quick release from my monopod to my gimbal to my tripod, and that's awesome. I also find that the 1/4 inch screws on the side are very reliable. Sometimes I worry about the threading being poor quality, but on this cage, that's not an issue in the slightest. The biggest drawbacks to using a cage like this is that if you are a hybrid shooter, I find the cage really impedes your photography side of things. I have a hard time shooting photos while the camera's in a cage because the accessibility to all your wheels and your buttons is limited. For video, this is okay because you normally have your locked in settings and you adjust them much slower than you do while you're taking photos. So this cage isn't good if you're doing some photos and video at the same time, at least in my opinion. The other issue is it does add a significant amount of weight. So if you are going to try and balance this on a gimbal, you do need a heavier weight gimbal. I use the Crane 2 and this works perfectly on it. However, if you're using one of the older Crane V2s or a Weeble Lab, this cage probably will be too heavier for it, unfortunately. The nice thing is, with that extra weight, this makes the camera cage much sturdier. So you don't really need to have to worry about stabilizing your shots when you have a little bit of a heavier setup like this. Having a wider stance with better gripping on your camera will provide steadier footage by default because you will have more strength in your arms to support it, and the weight just by itself acts as a counterbalance to your own movements. I prefer shooting handheld lately while I've been using this cage, just because how practical it is to have the easier portability and quicker setup and teardown time of a cage like this compared to a gimbal. The last benefit though, and probably the most obvious, is the insane value this cage is. It's only $100 for the base cage and an extra $50 to get the rail and the articulating arm, which in my opinion is an absolute steal. This cage will definitely pay itself off immediately if you do any work with it. It's an incredible value and is pretty much essential for any kit that you're doing more intensive video work with. I find it's very practical for my purposes, and I think if you're on the market for a cage and you're worried about the low price of this, meaning that the quality is lower, is certainly not the case. This cage is an absolutely awesome product, and I highly recommend it if you're looking for one. Thank you very much for watching this video though. I really appreciate it, and I love making these videos. And if you enjoyed watching it, maybe you could consider subscribing and liking this video. If you have any questions, I'd really appreciate you commenting and asking me. I'm pretty quick with my replies and I try my best to, so please ask me any questions that you have. Anyways though, hope you have an awesome day and awesome week as well. See ya.